Okay, number one for the respiratory system, it would be the diaphragm, which is located right here, this cavity. And number two, if you could just follow me over here, would be the nasal cavity, which is located right here. Number two, this whole structure right here, it's the nasal cavity. Next would be the frontal sinus, would be on front. On 43 would be the frontal sinus. Next would be the sphenoidal sinus, which is 44. Next would be the soft palate, which is on 9A. And the oral cavity, 9A. Next would be the hard palate, would be still on 9A, but more located up here. Next would be the uvula, which is below the 9A, right here. Next would be the three pharynx, would be the nasal pharynx, which is on 4, nasal pharynx. Next would be the oral pharynx, which would be around 5, and the laryngopharynx, which is around 6. Okay, and now we're around where the trachea is, and we're going to look at the thyrohyoid membrane, which is right here. This structure would be the thyrohyoid membrane below the hyoid bone. And next would be the cricothyroid membrane, which is located right here. This is the cricothyroid membrane.
Cricoid thyroid membrane.
Yes, thyroid membrane. And the cricotracheal membrane would be this right here. Next would be the tracheal membrane, which is this one right here, and each membrane below that would be the tracheal membrane. All these structures. Next would be the trachea, which is this whole thing. Or if you'd like to come over here, the trachea. If you could just follow me to the superior, middle, and nasal concha, which is located in the nasal cavity. The superior nasal concha would be this one. The middle nasal concha would be where it says 3, and the inferior nasal concha is below that. Okay, and next would be the epiglottis, which is this, right next to the hyoid bone. And we're gonna turn this sucker around. And next we're going to look up the cartilage from the larynx. And first is the cricoid cartilage, which is cricoid cartilage would be right here. Next would be the thyroid cartilage, which is this structure. This is the thyroid cartilage. Next we're going to turn this around to the arytenoid cartilage, which is this whole structure right here. Arytenoid cartilage. Lastly, of all 4 cartilage, would be the corniculate cartilage, which is this end. Corniculate cartilage. Alright, okay, the 3 bronchus are the primary, secondary, and tertiary bronchus, and the primary bronchus would be where it says B, this whole part. The secondary would be this part, and the tertiary bronchus would be these ends. All these ends are the tertiary bronchus.
There's a primary, secondary, and tertiary bronchus on both right and left side.
Okay, next we're going to the lung, which I have in my hand. This is the right lung. We're going to go to the superior, middle, and inferior lobes. The superior lobe would be A. A would be the superior lobe. Next would be the middle lobe, which is B. And after that would be the inferior lobe, which is C. We're going to go to the base of the lung, which is below. Right here is the base of the lung. And the apex would be up here, top. And also in the lung would be the cardiac notch, which is indentations of the superior, middle, and inferior lobes. These things, these indentations. Lastly, we're going to the alveoli, which is each and every sac in the lung.